Hey, JC here. Are you wondering where's the best place to retire to? Whether it's Southeast Asia, Latin America? Well, I have an opinion about that. Let me share it with you. So I just got through shooting our member site weekly update, which I do every week. And I usually have some kind of topic that I'll talk about, as well as answering questions from the members and updating them on any news or anything like that. But I got through talking about a topic that's really, I feel, relevant today as to why Southeast Asia is better, in my opinion, than, say, Latin America. But basically why you can still get the 7 most stressful concerns for retirees and pre-retirees eliminated or reduced by living in someplace like Southeast Asia. So I'm going to go ahead and edit what I did for the member site. I don't usually do this. The information usually for the member site stays in the member site and doesn't go on YouTube, but I thought this was so relevant and important and information I think is timely that I want to share it with YouTube viewers as well. I don't think our members will mind if I do that. And so here is what I had to say to the members regarding reducing the most stressful concerns of retirees and pre-retirees by living in Southeast Asia. So check it out, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and think about becoming a member of our member site. See you, JC out.
สวัสดีค่ะ
Hey, Nat. What time is it?
Time for weekly update.
That's right, time for the weekly update. Where are we?
Dalat.
Yeah, we're in Dalat, and what's going on this weekend? It's a special weekend for Dalat.
Yeah,
Flower Festival.
Flower Festival.
That's right, a flower festival, and people come from all over, out of the country and within Vietnam to come to this flower festival. It's a big time for Dalat, and so we're going to do the weekly update. We tried to find a place, but there's so many people that we have. I wanted you to see the roses behind me, but I don't think you can see them. But we're going to go ahead and talk about what's been going on this week. And there wasn't anything in the... there was no news. So in lieu of doing the news, and we still have... Actually, we actually have 6 questions today. So, yay. Got a lot of questions answered. But what I wanted to do is, because we have no news, I wanted to talk to the members about why I feel that Southeast Asia is still the place to retire. Now, Thailand really, you all have retirement for the older people. The government will give them some money, but it's not very much.
Yeah, about 600 when you're 60.
Yeah, 600 baht?
Yes.
A month? Yeah. Or a week? Or a day?
A month.
A month. Yeah, not much money. And foreigners, sometimes it's not a lot of money in their home country to retire off of, and that's why I started this whole project, to say, there's other places in the world where you can get more life for less money. And I think Southeast Asia is still one of the best places in the world to do that, and that includes Thailand and Vietnam, and there's upsides to each one of these that I think are advantageous to a retiree. And I just wanted to mention a few of these things. I have something that I give away to people called the 7 most stressful concerns of retirees and how living in some place like Thailand eliminates them. So I just want to go over them because this is the primary problems, and for me, Southeast Asia is the best solution to them. So I just want to go over these real quick. And I think on YouTube and stuff, there's always a link where people can download this document. And I'll go into a lot of detail as to why I think that these concerns can be reduced or eliminated by living in some place. And so I won't go into all 7 here. People can download that document. But one of them was depleting your retirement fund. And that is, you have a certain finite amount of money. And people might have worked all their life and put money, saved it, and invested it and stuff like that. And one of the biggest concerns is, will I run out before I die? You don't want to run out of money before you kick off. What are you going to do? And so when you can pay to live 60% cheaper for 30% of the cost by living in some place like Vietnam or Thailand, the stress of that gets reduced. You don't worry so much because your money's getting depleted at a slower rate. And people are saying, well, it's getting more expensive in Thailand and Vietnam. And yes, it's also getting more expensive in your home country too. Everybody complains that I talk to in the West of how expensive everything is. And when I go there, I don't go very often because it's so expensive. So yeah, and keep in mind, even though the cost of a meal or something might go up a large percentage, it's still such a small amount overall cost that it isn't a game changer. If something costs $100 and it goes up, 20%, that's a lot of money. It's $20. But if something's only $1.20 and goes up 20%, that's not much. It's like 24 baht or something like that. And so that's less than $1. So it's not a game changer. And I'll talk about why I feel Southeast Asia is better than Latin countries in just a minute. But I want to go over a couple more of these. Meeting the rising health insurance costs. Now, you got to have health insurance to come to Thailand, but you don't have to have it in Vietnam. And you also, depending on what visa you have for Thailand, you don't have to be required to have that insurance either. So there are options, always options. So this whole thing about the rising costs of insurance in America, I couldn't afford, if I lived in insurance, I couldn't afford to have health insurance. But for what it costs I'd say what it would cost me to pay an electric bill in America, just the electric bill every month, I have major medical insurance here for that same amount of money. And our electric bill is a third of what it would be in America. So to me, that's a great deal. And if you don't have to have the mandatory insurance, I still suggest that you have it. And I'll put a posting that I made for YouTube about that as well. And in the member site, I have a posting about why I got the insurance I did and how to get it. But anyway, this is, it's not expensive. Could you self-insure? Sure. But if something major happened, you really want to be covered. And it's not expensive to cover yourself for insurance over here. Do a lot of Thai people have medical insurance?
Not too much.
No, because you all have the
30 baht.
Yeah, 30 baht. You all can go to the hospital and get taken care of, right? And that's why a lot of people don't have the insurance. And so, but in America and the West, England and Australia, Canada, some of those are socialized. You don't have to have insurance, but for Americans, the rising cost of insurance is a big deal. So that's sort of non-issue. And the thing about it is, when you think about Vietnam, Cambodia, other countries, Thailand is like the #1 place in the world, arguably, for medical tourism. People come to Thailand or go to Thailand to get health. We have members that get all their dental work done. I mean, extensive dental work done. And it's cheaper in Thailand to do that with the trip over and a month-long vacation than it is just to get the dental work done back home. And so this is the thing about, and if you lived in Vietnam, like if I lived here full time, I would fly to Thailand to get my medical done. Even though I do get some dental work done in Vietnam, it's pretty good. Huh? Yeah, the glasses, but actually the glasses are more expensive in Thailand than in America. It's cheaper in America to get glasses. But you can buy them online. You could get, in Thailand, you can go to And optometrists get the test and everything, and then take that information and give it to a company online in America. They would make the glasses like progressive and progressive lenses and transition, everything, just have them sent over. So there's an option there for you as well. But Thailand is definitely one of the best in the world for the medical treatments. Another one is the continuing of mortgage and debt payments. So I want to mention that if you could sell off your assets back home and pay off your debt, if you have credit cards or house debt, a loan on the house or a vehicle or something like that, if you could sell off assets and pay that off, wow, and be debt free, then what income you have coming in or your reserves and your investment accounts and stuff would go a lot further, not having debt over your head. So that's an option. Now, if you sold off everything and tried to stay in America, the rents and stuff are so high, you may be better off just keeping the asset. So, but if you can pay it off and come to Thailand or Vietnam or someplace, you not have any debt, it's a really good thing. Also, the stress of having to pay off debt, like a credit card debt, and some people are just paying the interest on those or mortgage or anything like that. If you don't have that stress, it's healthier for you, because stress is really, it can cause illness and exacerbate or cause illnesses, pre-existing illnesses, to get worse if you're under stress. So eliminating that stress is another reason I think it's a really good thing to consider to move to someplace in Southeast Asia. So that's another one. And I mentioned about the cost of living and the inflation. Yeah, it is getting more expensive in the West, and if you come to a place like Thailand or Vietnam, even though there is cost increases, you have an option of either digging in and using the same products and services. And by the way, a lot of people on YouTube and stuff like that say, oh, I can't live for, $1,000. It costs me $1,500, $2,000. And it's because of their lifestyle. They want to live like they do in their Western country, in Vietnam or Thailand, and think it's going to be cheaper, and that's not. It could be even more expensive. Because if you can eat in foreign restaurants, anything that the Thai people or Vietnamese people don't use, and that's products and services, are disproportionately expensive. And so they're going to be more expensive because they're only for foreigners or for the affluent. You got to reduce and simplify your life, and then it is inexpensive to live in these countries. And so keeping up with the cost of inflation in the West is going to be a lot more expensive than keeping up with the inflation in Southeast Asian countries. So, and the other one is when your demise, when you actually finally pass away. This is very expensive in the West to deal with, because it's more a simple process. In Asian countries, then it doesn't cost as much, and so your beneficiaries don't have to spend a lot of money, and it's a simpler process to deal with as opposed to back in the West. So that's something to keep in mind as well. So the other thing is, I want to talk about why I think Southeast Asia is better than, say, some of these Latin countries. Now, Nat has never been to Latin America, and so maybe one day I'll be able to take her. And I love Latin America. I love South American countries. I was married to a Brazilian. I did business in Costa Rica, delivered boats down to these countries and stuff. And I like the culture. I like the people. I like the food and everything. But when it came time for me to decide where I was going to live, a Buddhist or Asian culture aligned more with who I am as a person. The Latin culture is a more volatile culture. And what I mean by that is, sometimes you don't know if you're going to get hugged or hit, because the highs are very high in Latin cultures. They're very expressive, but the lows are really low as well. And so that, to me, I prefer more of an even keel society and people. And so this works really good for me. Now, for other people that like that adventure excitement and, the culture and the thing of, that for Latin cultures, that probably work better. But for me, as I get older, I want more relaxed, just chilling, right? Yeah, I think it's good for me. And so this is why I think it's better over here. Also, if you talk about Thailand, and compare that medical to other places in Central and South America, I think that is better. Even though there is good places in Brazil and everything, first top-notch medical, it's expensive. And you go to places that are cheap in Central and South America, and the medical's not so good in those countries. So everything's a trade-off. Everything in life is a trade-off. To get something, you got to give something, right?
Yeah.
And so even in relationships here, for a Thai person to be with a foreigner, there's some upside to it, but also some challenges. And for vice versa, for a foreigner to be with an Asian person in a relationship, there's a lot of upsides and there's some downsides. It's difficult. And so everything. So you got to look at what's the upside and what's the downside, and then match that with what it is that you're looking for in your life. Also, another thing to keep in mind, this is really critical, because people will tell me all the time, well, I can live cheaply, say, in places in America. Yeah, but look at what the society, what your environment's going to be like in that place where it's cheap. And, somebody said, oh, I can retire cheap in Bangladesh. Well, go do that. But keep in mind, the society, if there's a lot of poverty, if there's a disparity of wealth, that means there's going to be a lot of crime, because the haves and the have-nots. The have-nots look at you as a target. And this is happening in some Asian countries as well, and why I don't recommend some of them as places to retire. You don't want to go someplace, especially as an old person, and feel like, somebody's going to come away your stuff, steal your stuff, or hurt you in some way, and they look at you and say, oh, I want what you have, because even a camera or a watch or something could be 6 months to a year's wage for some people. And so you need to keep that in mind. So that's an issue. So for me personally, I prefer more of a peaceful society. And so that's why I think Southeast Asia is still the place. If you're thinking about retiring, well, a lot of activity going on here, huh? Yeah, a lot of activity. And so I just wanted to take that time to address these things and reiterate why I say don't give up on your dreams. Keep focused on what it is that you want for your retirement and make it happen. And try not to be dissuaded from being fulfilled in your retirement, where you can get more life for less money. So that's it. That's all I want to say about that, but I think it was important, so I just wanted to reiterate that. Time for
5 questions.
Hey, JC here. If you like that video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here. Also, we have another video up here you're going to be really interested in watching as well. And if you're looking for all the details of how to retire in Thailand in one place, plus a group of people to support you, check this out over here. Give it a click.